I had to switch one setting before we got started there. Hi, everybody. Dan Vespers here, still sick as a dog, but we're going to get you into snack size DFS. That's what you came for here on this episode of Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball. Brenton Eckersley is right around the corner. But first, a quick reminder for our buddies at Bet Online, the spot that continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. They've got the earliest odds, in-game live betting, and the ability to watch the games as they happen. You can bet on everything from football to the NBA and college hoops, NHL and UFC. So head to Bet Online today and don't forget to use promo code BELIEVE, BLEA, Victor, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online, the game starts here. Hit that like button, subscribe to Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball, drop 5-star reviews where possible, and now get me the heck out of here. Me and my Rudolph the Red Nose clogging up your screen. Here's Brenton. I'm out.
Thanks as always, Dan. Welcome everybody to Snack Size DFS. I am your host, Brenton Eckersley, coming to you all the way from Adelaide in South Australia. This is the second time I've recorded today, believe it or not. I did the Friday card when I first woke up this morning. It's now late afternoon here, so I thought I'd just pump through the Saturday card as well for you guys. I won't be recording every day, but I will bring you as much content as I possibly can. Thanks to Old Man Squad Network for having me here. I love being part of Dan's network and being able to bring you some of my fantasy knowledge as it may be. As I said, we're recording for the game slate on December the 28th, which is a Saturday. There are 9 games today on DK, in the NBA. DK have decided to split that up into the 2 early games and then the 7 later games. So we're going to concentrate on those 7 later games. And the idea here, if you haven't been here before, is to keep this as short as possible. So enough of me crapping on. Let's jump in. I just want to, while we're here, let me get this slideshow up. There we go. Let's actually make it a slideshow. There we go. Okay, let's jump in here. I just want to quickly touch on what happened yesterday. As I said, I did record earlier this morning for this slate that you see in front of you. Barring the first 2 guys, I just want to mention this is the top fantasy points for the day on DK. I touched on every single player below Jalen Brown. So Kuminga, Triple J, Şengün, Tatum, Murray, Mitchell, Randall. They were all part of my video / podcast earlier today, so I hope you jumped on. I didn't get a chance to actually drop in any DFS lineups today. I wish I had, obviously, but this is just to let you know that, yeah, I've been doing this a while. I do know what I'm talking about. Missed the first 2, but yeah, the rest of them, if you had some of these guys in your lineups, you would have been doing just fine. Let's pump in. Saturday, 28th of December game notes. I like to start with just a quick overall view of some games that are attracting my interest or maybe I want to steer away from. As I said, this is 7 games on the DK slate in the after the first 2 are out of the way, the early games. And to be honest, today there's no real game total notes. There's nothing really fast. There's nothing really slow that we can take advantage of or avoid. Most of the games seem to be coming in from Vegas at around the 223 to 230 game total, which is fairly average for the NBA. I just want to draw your attention to the 3 icons down the bottom here. These are fairly new. And the first 2 relate to game total. So if it's a fast game total that I think is worth noting, then I'm going to put the little speedometer with the fast and the green. If it's slow, obviously, it's going to be the red one. And new icon as of today, we're going to refine this as we go. This is new for me as well. So as we go along, we'll refine things, make things better for you. If you have any suggestions for me, please drop them in the YouTube comments. I always read them and I'm happy to work on them where they are relevant. The third icon there is simply for back-to-backs. So back-to-backs are something we have to pay attention to. And there are a few in this game card today. Let's jump in. Attack and Stack is a page that I like to present where we can focus on teams who are playing teams who give up heaps and heaps of fantasy points. So New York play Washington in this card. You can attack them at point guard, at shooting guard, at power forward. You can actually just attack Washington everywhere. And as you read down the card here, you can see Milwaukee taking on Chicago. Chicago give up heaps. Philly taking on Utah. Utah give up heaps, and Dallas at Portland, Portland give up heaps. And I've just highlighted in blue. I may not go into this every single time, but there are particular positions of an opponent's team that you can target specifically, and we do that here in this slate once or twice. I don't like to talk this long before I get into the card usually, but I wanted to give you guys a good rundown of where we're at. We're still early on in the process here, so welcome. Let's get into these games. New York at Washington. This is a back-to-back for New York, so we do need to keep an eye on the news. At the moment, there's no news for any of the major New York players being in or out. So it's pretty much starting lineups and a couple off the bench as per usual. Cat at 9,700. This is a cash play only at the moment. We know that Cat has upside. He just hasn't been there at the moment. Jalen Brunson. This is one of my favourite plays of the day, 8,100. This is a great spot here versus the Wizards, and especially at point guard. Should be a fairly good pace game, and Jalen Brunson could just absolutely pummel the Wizards here for 8,100. I love this play. Josh Hart, 6,700, coming off 41 and 49. So 6,700 is just too low when he's now facing the Wizards. We always have to watch blowouts in these situations, but I still love that price for Josh Hart. He's going to play a lot of minutes no matter what. And Mikal Bridges, 6,100. He is so up and down at the moment, but again, versus the Wizards, the upside is there, so he's a good tournament play. On the Wizards side of the court, Malcolm Brogdon, 5,400. He's only in play for me if Jordan Poole sits, who is listed as questionable as I record this, a good amount of time before the slate actually opens. Bilal Coulibaly, 6,300. This is his floor at the moment with no Kuzma. 45 to 50 point upside. Love that price. Continue playing Bilal where you need to. Bub Carrington, 5,000. That's a little bit of a price jump. He had a nice game out last time though, so if Poole is out again, Bub Carrington is a decent tournament play here. Milwaukee at Chicago. So another one where Chicago give up heaps of fantasy points. That for me, brings Giannis into play. Now, we have to keep in mind here that Giannis and Dame are both questionable. Giannis, actually, neither of them played last game, which led to a big Bobby Portis game and a big Chris Middleton game. So that's why I've listed those two guys again. Bobby Portis, 7,800 is a great price if Giannis sits. Chris Middleton is 6,700. He's more of a cash play. He can be played if either Dame or Giannis sit. If they both sit, that becomes even more appealing. Giannis himself at 11,300 and Dame himself at 9,300. I'm going to slot them into lineups if one or the other sits. So if Giannis sits, play Dame. If Dame sits, play Giannis. On the Chicago Bulls side of the ball, Kobe White, 6,700, had a massive game out last time, but just keep in mind that Giddey and Dosunmu were both out. I think Lonzo Ball was out too in that game. So 6,700. If we have some outs there that favour Kobe White. Zach LaVine at 7,700. Finally getting some usage coming his way. Had a huge one last game. Again, Giddey questionable. Dosunmu doubtful. And LaVine is finally putting up some DK points at 57. Coming off 57, apologies. Josh Giddey himself, if he plays, and we know there's no minutes restriction, 6,900 is pretty easy play for him as well. He's coming off 38, 45, and 39. I like that price for Josh Giddey if he plays. Javon Carter was another one who got a big bump or minutes bump and DK points bump with the other guys out last game, it being Giddey, Dosunmu, and Lonzo Ball. So if those guys are out again, you can play Javon Carter at 4,300. Phoenix versus Golden State. Okay, so both of these teams are on back-to-backs. Watch the news. There's nothing major for Phoenix at the moment. We know that Booker is still out. I still love Kevin Durant at 9,100. He's actually had a price drop, and you can see he's tailed off a little bit in the last few games with 42, 49, and 39, but before that, 60 and 61, and that is the ceiling for Kevin Durant any given night. Bradley Beal, 7,300, another yo-yo player at the moment, tournament play only. Take a stab if you need to fill in that mid-price player. Mason Plumlee at 3,600, so this is going to be interesting. Nurkic, I didn't actually see the incident today, but apparently he could be suspended as early as tomorrow. So if Nurkic is out, then you can look at Plumlee very heavily at 3,600, and you can also look at Iguodala at a basement price of 3K just to get 15, 20 DK fantasy points if you need them. On the Warriors side of the ball, Steph and Draymond sat last game. we can assume, I would say, that Steph Curry is probably playing this one. It's the second night of a back-to-back. I assume that was just rest and he's coming back in. So that will probably kill off Dennis Schroeder at 5,400. If Curry doesn't play, Schroeder didn't really capitalise today, but I still think 5,400 is a good price for Schroeder. Again, if we see there's no Curry, Andrew Wiggins gets that usage bump, 5,600. He went crazy today, and he is one of the guys I missed yesterday, I'll admit it. Trace Jackson-Davis at 4,300. He's an easy play if Draymond sits. Jonathan Kuminga went absolutely spare today. 5,500 is too cheap, and he is an easy play if Green sits. Detroit at Denver. Look, I didn't have a great amount of interest on the Detroit side of the court today. Malik Beasley continues to just roll. 5,400 is a very solid price. He has a great floor at the moment, and he obviously has some upside too. The other major player that I wanted to look at for Detroit, but not really, is Cade Cunningham. 10-2. It's a tough matchup versus Denver. He's never out of play. It's a decent price. He does have 60 to 65 point upside. On the Denver side of things, Nikola Jokic, we always have to mention him at least, 11,900. He's always in play, and I didn't highlight him for the Friday games, and he put up 70 DK points. I didn't think he'd do that against Cleveland. So Jokic is just capable of anything, so we need to always keep him in mind. Jamal Murray, this is probably my favourite player of the day across the entire card. 7,400 is just too cheap. He is absolutely rolling at the moment. Jamal Murray is on fire. We do not need to worry about paying that price for him. He's probably my number one lock play. Aaron Gordon is out, so Peyton Watson at 4,400 is just a cash play if you need to. Russell Westbrook got the start today. 6,200, and with Gordon out, there is a lot of upside in minutes and DK points for Russ. Philly at Utah. Embiid has popped up as questionable. Surprise, surprise. This time it's a foot, apparently. I struggle with Joel Embiid this year. I just can't seem to play him. In fact, you'll see he's not even on my list here, even if he does play, because is he going to play 10 minutes and just leave the game? That's, the risk I just can't take. Tyrese Maxey, if Embiid is out at 8,500, fantastic price. He's been killing it anyway. If Embiid doesn't play, love that. Paul George at 8,000. I'm a little bit cooler on that, but if Embiid sits, you can play him. The obvious injury replacement for Embiid is Andre Drummond at 4,600. Kelly Oubre gets a bump at 5,700 if Embiid doesn't play, and Caleb Martin also 4,100, a bit of a tournament play if Embiid sits. How does one player affect so many other players around him? Well, that's just usage, isn't it? Embiid is going to shoot or do something constructive with the ball every time he gets it. So when he's not there, all these players just get a significant bump. For the Utah side of things, look, Lauri Markkanen has not really been getting it done too much this year, but 7,500 for him is a decent price. I think it's a cash price. I wouldn't play him in tournaments, but he does have some upside. Colin Sexton, 6,200. We have Keontae George and Jordan Clarkson both questionable still. If either of those guys miss, I don't mind Colin Sexton. If they both miss, you can lock him in. Lock it in at 6,200. Also, Collins is questionable. That's a different position, obviously, than Sexton, but it's all about usage. And also, the little bump at the lower end of pricing when the Keontae and Clarkson guys were out last time was Isaiah Collier, 4,100. 35 minutes, 25 DK points isn't exactly great points per minute, but you can look at that if you need to, if those guys are out. Dallas versus Portland, Kyrie Irving. We know that Luka is out, so 8,400. He had a down game today, but I don't mind this still. It is a back-to-back. Watch Kyrie. He's an old man like me, so he may rest, but there's no news on that. At the moment, I expect to bounce back, and 8,400 without Luka is a good play. Spencer Dinwiddie, and Quentin Grimes. So these are the two guys. That price is incorrect for Spencer Dinwiddie. I believe he is 5K on the dot. Something like that. So apologies there. Spencer Dinwiddie is not 3,700. He's more like 5K. The question over these two was who was going to split the minutes, who was going to get the most usage, and it was kind of a flip-flop situation. So Dinwiddie got the minutes but didn't really put up the fantasy points. Grimes didn't get the minutes. Sorry, other way around. Dinwiddie did not get the minutes but put up the DK points, and Quentin Grimes got the minutes, but didn't really do anything with them. So this is going to be a flip-flop situation. Honestly, for me, it's Grimes for cash plays and Dinwiddie for tournaments. That's the best advice I can give you. We're just going to have to see where it shakes out. Derek Lively at 5,700. He's questionable at the moment, but if he plays, attacking Portland at the center position is a great way to go for DFS. 5,700 is awesome. And if he doesn't play, then you can slot in Daniel Gafford at 4,200. On the Portland side of the ball, nothing too interesting here for me versus Dallas. DeAndre Ayton, 6,600. He is a tournament play only because he has some upside. Shaden Sharp at 5,700. Same thing. He's just a tournament play. If you happen to fall there and need somebody risky, has some upside, sure, you can play him if you want to, but I won't be going there too often. Scoot Henderson at 4,100. 40 plus DK points versus Utah, but just remember, Dallas are not Utah. So, yeah, I'm not too keen on any of those Portland guys, to be honest. Sacramento at Lakers. There's a fair bit going on in this matchup. De'Aaron Fox, 8,700. Honestly, he hasn't been really getting it done as far as DK points go lately. However, if you love the narrative of Mike Brown getting basically sacked off the back of whatever happened around De'Aaron Fox and himself, so go the rumors, then the narrative of De'Aaron Fox coming out here and just absolutely smoking the Lakers is pretty hard to ignore. 8,700 is a higher price, but if you're a narrative player, I'm not too much, but I don't mind this one. You can definitely look at De'Aaron Fox. Sabonis is questionable. Apparently he didn't practice for these Saturday games, so that's not good. It is good for Keegan Murray at 5,500. It is good for Trey Lyles at 4,200, and it is good for Alex Len at 3,700 if Sabonis happens to miss. On the Lakers side of the ball, we got LeBron questionable. We've also got Anthony Davis questionable. I love LeBron here if Anthony Davis can't play. You can switch that back around. If LeBron can't play, then AD is a play. I would prefer that Anthony Davis didn't play because playing LeBron James at 9,500, that's smash territory. Austin Reeves at 6,500 had a big one last time out, and again, if either of those guys don't play, you can certainly slot him in at 6,500, and if both of them don't play, then he is also smash territory. The other guys to look at, if we have no LeBron, no Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, Max Christie, Rui Hachimura, they are tournament plays if the big two are out. My favourite plays of the day, Jamal Murray is the top of the line for me versus Detroit. That 7,000 odd DK price is just too low. De'Aaron Fox for the narrative game. Kyrie versus Portland. Dan Gafford versus Portland if Lively sits. We got Tyrese Maxey and Andre Drummond versus Utah if Embiid is out. Mason Plumlee if Nurkic gets suspended. Jonathan Kuminga, and that is off the back of mostly Draymond Green, but also if Curry sits. Portis and Middleton in Milwaukee if Giannis and or Dame sit. And then Jalen Brunson versus the Wizards. He'd be rivaling that Jamal Murray play. He's about $1,000 more expensive. That's it, guys. It's a lot to pack into a short amount of time, but you can always replay, bring up the screens as I bring them up if you need to. I hope it's worthwhile for you guys. I know that not everybody has the time to sit through long podcasts, long videos, so I've done the work for you guys. Jump in there, rewind, have a look at the screenshots, play around with your lineups. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video and follow Old Man Squad on YouTube and on the socials. And my socials, they are at Terrain72 on Twitter and at terrain72.bsky.social on Blue Sky. That's it for today. Really appreciate you guys watching, and we will see you next time. Back to you, Daniel.
Yeah, I'll take it, Daniel. Oh, man, looking at my face on the camera right now, it is a sight. Red eyes, red nose, leaking all over the place. But good thing for you guys, Brenton can carry you through, and you don't need me for anything other than just saying hello and goodbye. It's sort of the Uncle Leo of podcasting. Thank you to Brenton Eckersley, another fantastic episode of Snack Size DFS. Tell your friends and go win some cash. We'll see you guys when we see you. More episodes, obviously, coming up here on this feed all the time of Snack Size DFS and of traditional full season Old Man Squad fantasy basketball. I'm Dan for Brenton. We'll see you guys when we see you.